So I was standing outside my house. I had packed all of my belongings into my 2001 Honda Accord. And it was February, but it was one of those warm days, like yesterday. And I was standing in my driveway, crying with my wife, as I was getting ready to move to Los Angeles, and she was staying here because she's responsible. But earlier, a few months earlier, we had started talking about actually having kids. You know, you kind of talk about having kids, and then you have a conversation where you're like, maybe we should actually do this. And right after that moment, we had had that conversation. I was like, oh no, I have to go to Los Angeles. Because I'd always had this idea that maybe I could go to Los Angeles and go try to make it in Hollywood. So we're standing there, and I'm crying, and she's crying, and I pull away out of the driveway and then drive off. And it's the most heart-wrenching like memory I have of willfully driving away from my wife. And I've done it accidentally before, but I had to go do this. And I had two goals: one, to make it big, and two, to go through the process of going for it. Obviously, I didn't make it big, or I wouldn't be here. That sounds insulting. You would have heard of me before this. I'm the only guy ever to move from Los Angeles to Springfield to get on TV. So I came back. I ended up coming back after a year. The idea was that she'd either move out at some point or I would move back at some point. I came back after a year, having not met this big goal of making it, but having gone through this process where I killed my addiction to security. And I changed my relationship with fear and with risk. And so what I want to take this time to say to you guys is that you need to change your relationship with fear and risk, and you need to understand yourself. You need to figure yourself out if you're going to lead people. So the ultimate nugget of this is, my urging to you is to go to therapy. That sounds like an odd thing to say right now, but I was like, of all these ideas that I had, what's most important? And for me, it's going to therapy, or doing things that break your addiction to these things like security and fear of failure and that sort of thing. Because here's the thing with real life. You have a conversation with somebody, and you talk, and then while they're listening, and then you listen while they talk, and it's great, it's fine. But at therapy, you just talk. They listen. You never have to ask them about their things because you've paid them money. Because here's what I've learned in that, and myself now. So the progression of my show was from this show that was a non-televised fake TV show where I just kind of did everything. And then we got on TV and kind of grew, and I was like, oh, all of a sudden, I'm in charge of people. I'm managing people. And it's a whole different skill set. And I have so many hang-ups of my own, so many hang-ups and insecurities and that sort of thing that are dictating how I'm doing this. I need to work through those. And then the other thing along those lines that I needed to abandon was this fear of failure, this fear of risk. And what I've determined is that risk is a muscle that you have to kind of do. You have to do it repeatedly in order to be able to do it in big ways later. For example, I would be terrified right now to recite a poem that I wrote to you guys about fear. But I'm going to do it because it terrifies me. I regret doing that intro. I wish I could back out. Here we go. Okay. The only thing we have to fear does not exist. Life's open palm is not a fist. When I fall, I fly. When I fly, I fall. To a crow, the sky's no risk at all. My mother's son, the fear runs deep. Yet in the quiet times, I dream of dreams, dreams that ask me not to tell. the fear within is looming quell. That's terrifying to me to have just done that. I do it. No, it's okay. No. I do it just because I decided I like writing poetry, and I started doing it years ago. And I was like, oh, there's a poetry night at like this bookstore. I'm going to go do that. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So forever I didn't do it. And so I know how much it terrifies me to do my to deliver poetry in front of people. So that's why I did it, to show you. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I just said that, and then I still had time. Anyway. Anyway, I have 1 minute left. The key here is to go to therapy. That's my business principle for you. Thank you guys very much.